the death of everything, but also the beginning.
Wait, so why is Shinji talking? Is this a flashback? And if it's a flashback, then how is it in the, like, mist fog world?
People have filled the world, yet turned it into a void. The only hope of salvation lies in ruin.
I mean, yes, that's what you said, but you shouldn't be able to be talking in this locale.
You work in a zoo because that's one huge pile of shit you're pushing around. So, how'd that turn out for you, Dad? It doesn't matter now that your dead is adored.
Why are they calling him red-haired young man? And also guy with crazy hair. We know who they are. Why would they not introduce them as who they are when we already know who they are?
You wanted the world destroyed, huh? Isn't that right, you worthless pest? Fine. I'll do it. This shitty world with its shitty people and shitty lives will disappear. And I'll be the only thing left.
So, you hate your dad, and you hate the world. You just need a friend, dude.
After all, if the Father's fallen into darkness, then the sun must rise. Just kidding.
What nonsense.
What?
These constructs can only remain active within my red fog. Even then, they can only do so for a limited amount of time.
Okay, so Minazuchi is making him a fake dad, apparently. And seriously, why would you bring your dad back and have him, like, whine about stuff that you don't even believe in? He's, like, doing things for his dad, but he doesn't respect his dad. This guy is so screwed up.
If you have time to waste with worthless sentiment, hurry up and complete your preparations.
Ha! You've got no sense of humor. Keep up your whining and I'll have to kill you too.
That's Minazuchi. He's the guy inside you. You can't kill him. He's an aspect of yourself.
Such impudence. Take them. They are your pawns.
They're pretty well made. Fine, I've got the power I borrowed from you too. So now there's no way.
Yeah, that doesn't work out for you so well, just so you know.
Well then, time to make like a tree and turn over a new leaf. Whatever.
He even screws up his pun. Oh, that's great. I love that. I would have never thought of that. That is a great little thing to put in there.
A puppet version of a puppet. I'll make sure you get the job done this time.
Now let's begin. For the sake of his world.
There they all are. That again makes me question one thing that never really got answered in the last one for me. How exactly was he able to make shadow versions of people like Ken and Yukari, who weren't in the last one? I get how he makes shadow versions based on, you know, the combat and what he saw of the people that were in Persona 4 Arena, but the new challengers had shadows too. I don't know how that can be. Kitty, leave the green screen alone. Oh, I didn't read it.
I finished going through Labrys's personality module and control links.
Based on the backdrop, I have to assume this is Aigis, because Aigis isn't going to be anywhere else, so... Fuka-san's voice echoes through the machine-lined room, where she works as the operator. It seems there's a little more time until she'll be finished with her work.
I knew.
Oh, was that Akihiko? Crap. That was completely the wrong voice then.
I'm sorry that I asked you for such a big favor.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly stand by after something so important happened. But, is it really all right for me to be doing this? Aren't you all part of some kind of police organization now?
The new people do come in through the TV. Well, actually, no, they don't. Because, at least in the Persona 4 episode, the red fog came out of the TV and into the real world, and Ken and Yukari just flew in on a helicopter. And then later we encountered their shadows. So, I mean, I guess theoretically, if the red fogs is Minazuchi's... Oh my god, cat! You guys can't really see it. But the cats are just tearing around the green screens going everywhere. Thankfully, it's still green, so you don't really notice, but man. So yeah, I guess if it's the red fog itself and the red fog came out into the real world, that could make some degree of sense. And I didn't actually see in that scene, if they were in that scene we just saw, then it completely makes no sense. But if they were made on the spot whenever they arrived, then that would be okay. That would make, okay.
There's no need to be concerned. Even now that we've become the Shadow Operatives, this lab belongs solely to the Kirijo group.
Isn't that just like corporations? We're under these like 17 different names, we're all the same people. Is this Akihiko? Is this Mitsuru? I don't know. The Shadow Operatives. A special unit under the direct supervision of the National Police Agency, organized to deal with supernatural cases that normally police would be unable to respond to. In other words, cases dealing with shadows. This is one of the laboratories under management of the Shadow Operatives. The purpose of this place is mainly to analyze evidence gathered in shadow-related cases. Analysis of shadow matters for scientific understanding and planning operations. Another objective is the maintenance, inspection, and service for anti-shadow weapons, such as myself. It is Igus! Son of a... That annoys me. Ah. Since I am a member of the Shadow Operatives, and I'm classified as a weapon due to my mechanical nature, I periodically undergo maintenance at this facility. Directly after the inauguration of the Shadow Operatives, Mitsuru-san and a state-of-the-art packing case prepare to transport me. However, the one slumbering within this case is my sister, Labris, the 5th-generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, and our new comrade.
I finished investigating Labris's mobility systems. All I have to do now is reboot her OS and perform some final checks.
Thank you.
That must have been really hard for Labris, based on her background, to be like, okay, I'll let you put me to sleep and go through my internal stuff. I don't know how she... I mean, even though we fought together, it's surprising she could trust that much.
She'd sustained some heavy structural damage, so I was worried, but thankfully none were critical.
Since my sister has been forced to push herself far behind her limit during the events of the other day, her entire body has taken serious damage. I'm glad that she's okay. Fuka-san's words caused me to sigh with relief.
I see. And what did you recover from her memory?
I'm sorry. I searched through it, but I found no records that would lead to finding the one behind...
This is interesting, because normally when we have a scene, the person in the scene is written about is in the scene, but I guess hasn't actually said anything so far. Except when I've said it.
If we want to pursue him any further, we'll have to wait for a report from intelligence. But it seems that will still take some time.
I see.
I see Mitsuru-san tighten her fist with a quiet utterance. The culprit is someone capable of manipulating the data in my sister's memory. The possibility that they would make a mistake of leaving a trace leading to themselves is extremely low. Even when one knows the outcome, people often feel indignant when the last bit of hope is crushed. It's understandable. Our ability to find out who kidnapped my sister has been completely stymied. Stymied doesn't really feel like a robot word to me.
And we have no clues to go on.
Don't be so hasty. You might get new leads from intelligence, right?
Ever since that attempted airplane hijacking, we've learned that the Public Safety Division has been making some disquieting moves. If we don't make a move soon, there's no telling what they'll do to take advantage of the situation. We have to find a lead before they do anything.
Though Akihiko-san has known Mitsuru-san for a long time, Mitsuru-san's expression remains stiff as he tries to console her. But that's only natural. The Shadow Operatives are still in a delicate position with regards to where we stand with the National Police Organization. As a seemingly suspicious group founded by an outsider and dealing with crimes outside the capabilities of the normal police force, we often are met with cold stares from the people who should be our fellow investigators when we're dispatched on cases. The logic of such actions eludes me, but I cannot pretend that they do not exist.
I understand
Finally.
how you feel, Mitsuru-san. But we must solve one problem at a time. That is why we have gathered here today.
Oh.
Right. I'm sorry. Please work with me here in reviewing what information we already know.
1 second. That may actually... Hey. Hey, okay. Okay, that may have actually been too much of an adjustment. Let me know if it's overpowering me, because I don't want it to. Mitsuru-san implores us for assistance. Our gathering here at the lab today isn't just to hear about the results of Fuka-san's tests on my sister. We've come to share and review the information we have, to inspect the clues as closely as possible, to get closer to the culprit as quickly as possible.
The person behind this case first stole Labris, the 5th-generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, while she was in transport.
Yes. The hijacking of the airplane you were on was a diversion used to conceal the theft of my sister, after which she was transported to Inaba.
Correct. The hijackers were subdued and captured, but we have reason to believe that their minds were under some kind of control.
Those who hijacked the airplane and transported the case had no memory of taking part in the crime. They did not recognize one another, had nothing in common, and were all ordinary citizens with no prior criminal records. That's actually... really interesting. Because to find a group of people, all of which have no priors at all, almost seems deliberate. You know, with a group of people that you expect one or two to just randomly have one. They did, however, all claim in their testimonies that they saw red eyes. Though their interrogations are still ongoing, it seems that it will not be long until they are released. With all these points taken in consideration, it becomes apparent that this is no ordinary crime.
The culprit waited until he arrived in Inaba to turn Labris on and fiddle with her memory. And then he threw her into the TV world, right?
Where one's heart and memories manifest themselves. As a machine, Labris was able to control these memories in great detail. In other words, the enemy used her in order to set a trap for us.
When we entered the television world in pursuit, we defeated her shadow and made indirect contact with the culprit.
That person revealed that his goal was to steal our personas by making us fight each other, which would weaken our hearts and turn our personas to shadows. Once he'd accomplished that, he would combine them all so we could have even more powerful shadows.
Everyone falls silent. The mysterious person's motive was to gather and unify shadows. This is all too similar to something that those of us gathered here will never forget.
Shuji Ikutsuki.
The culprit's speech pattern is consistent with Ikutsuki-san's mannerisms. His inability to use a persona matches him as well. But that's not possible!
That's right. We've confirmed Ikutsuki's death.
Or maybe there's someone out there besides Ikutsuki who still thinks the same way he does.
Well, that wouldn't be surprised, but why would that someone... I mean, obviously we know why, but why would that someone speak the same way Ikutsuki did?
If so, then the world we strive for is still far away.
Mitsuru-san sounds as if she's in agony. Shuji Ikutsuki. 3 years ago, he became fascinated with the Fall and tried to bring about the end of the world using shadows. To Mitsuru-san, he is also the adversary that robbed her of her precious father.
Yamagishi, when Labris awakens, can you give her a summary of the case from 3 years ago? I'd like her to know what went on while she was sealed.
I understand.
Can't you just stick that data into her memory?
If we did that, it would just become a piece of data to her. She needs to be told about it in order for her mind to understand what happened.
That's interesting. So, okay, if you have a machine and you just load data to it, then it becomes reference, but not something to be analyzed. It has to be actually encountered and learned for it to become something that shapes their personality. That's a really interesting way of going about that, you know, when you have machines that actually have personalities.
She's human through and through, huh?
Also, I noticed something when I was checking her memories. The makeup of Labrys's memory field is slightly different from Igus's. Besides the memory area that she normally accesses, there seems to be a sub-network of some sort. She has 2 memory networks? I think it was probably used to incorporate the feedback from her sibling units, but I still don't know for sure.
Oh, we know what that is. We learned for that in the last one. Oh, dang it. Cats, you are ruining the green screen. I don't see it showing on the video yet, though.
That's why I believe it's safer to tell her in person.
All right, I'll let you tell her however you see fit. Regarding Yakutski, I'm pressuring staff to hurry and review the information, including the newly discovered quarantine server at Ergo Research. We never knew about the server in question before now, because it had been cut off from the group's network. It most likely has information that normally would have never left Ergo Research, such as data on top-secret experiments.
Yakutski-kan should be involved with this case. Mitsuru-san's worry and irritation may be because she senses that possibility. We can all understand the pain she must be in.
By the way, what was the logic behind that whole midnight channel thing?
It's still unknown, but we'll have to send people to Inaba again. We're going to hold a meeting at headquarters tomorrow to discuss countermeasures.
Well, it looks like we're never getting to tomorrow. That is not a good sound. Suddenly, an alarm that notifies us of abnormalities goes off and reverberates throughout the lab. Mitsuru-san quickly uses a nearby control panel to contact the staff within the facility.
What's going on?
The surveillance system detected a rise in shadow readings. It's currently stabilizing around a level 3 alert, located in that town of Inaba.
Is she a person with red eyes, or is... I guess Mitsuru also has red eyes. Every time I see red eyes, I always automatically think of either like a demon or a robot or something. I'm not used to people just naturally having red eyes.
What?
Looks like he's shown up already. That saves us the trouble of having to puzzle this out.
Yu-san and his friends are in danger. Mitsuru-san, please give the order to dispatch us.
All right, we'll leave at once. Yamagishi, leave Labrys to Kikuno and accompany us.
I understand. Well then, I leave the rest to you, Kikuno-san.
Understood. Lady Mitsuru, everyone, please be careful.
One of Mitsuru-san's personal domestic assistants, or should I say maids, Kikuno-san, answers. Kikuno-san and Mitsuru-san have a stronger bond than that of any ordinary servant and master, and she is another of the Shadow Operatives. Her words catch my attention for some reason. Please be careful. A very trivial expression of concern for our safety. Brushing it off as common courtesy would be simple, but I sense that she may be sensing something unusual regarding the situation that awaits us in there. What could be causing this unease? Does Mitsuru-san know?
Oh, hold on, I guess.
As I am trying to decide on whether or not to look deeper into Mitsuru-san's state of mind, Fuka-san gets up from her operator's seat and beckons me over.
What is it? If we can put Labrys aside for a moment, are you going to be alright without having any maintenance done on you, I guess? What do you mean? I read the documents on your new equipment. At first I assumed it was referring to that large gun, but it's actually... that. True. There have been no tests confirming that it is capable of being used.
Oh, come on, guys. Don't do the stupid,
situation.
we're going to talk about something but not actually talk about it so that the player doesn't know what you're talking about. Because I don't know that Igus has gotten any new gear, so obviously I don't know about that. And they're just dropping Chekhov's gun here in order to be, sometime later, Igus is going to be able to do something in the plot. But it bugs me if you're going to... The whole point of Chekhov's gun is that the audience knows it's a gun. This is...
But we face a powerful foe this time. Is it even possible? If even one thing were to go wrong...
Fuka-san's face clouds over as she looks at me. I can't be confident that I'll be alright, and I'm unable to tell her a pleasant lie to calm her down. In any case, I only pray the situation that requires me to use my new equipment never arises. Both of us are tense as we prepare to depart.
Milady, a change of clothes has been laid out in your car.
I see. Thank you.
I've also prepared Akihiko-san's favorite protein drink, and Fuka-san has been preparing a playlist suitable for a road trip in her room.
I never thought that Fuka would be the kind of person that was obsessed with music. That's a really weird tidbit to drop in there.
Huh?
That will be all, Kikuno.
Very well. Pardon me.
As expected from Kikuno-san, she is amazing and considerate as a personal assistant should be, but she can be too thoughtful at times. We learned this for ourselves when she came to accept us as people who are precious to Mitsuru-san.
Let's start this over, shall we? Shadow Operatives, let's mobilize.
Thanks to Kikuno-san, the tension in the air subsides a bit, but we cannot allow our attention to wander just now. Upon completing our preparations for departure, we immediately make our way to Inaba.
Why are we taking this car again, Mitsuru?
Akino-san grumbles from the back seat of the Shadow Operatives' personal limousine. I'm not sure how to put this, but I find that his feelings are justified.
Don't question it, Akihiko. There was no time to prepare a vehicle with the same equipment. Speaking of appearances, are you gonna wear that again?
Sure. There's a chance that we'll have to fight after all. These clothes give me the flexibility I need.
Impressive, Akihiko-san. You never change.
You're always impressive.
Still, to think that the culprit would make a move so soon. You've completely lost the initiative.
I guess that is true. I had forgotten that Fuka lets you change the background music inside Tartarus. I just sort of thought that was a... Well, actually, wait, did Mitsuru do the same thing? I can't remember if that came later or not. I think Mitsuru could also do it, so I just sort of wrote it off as something that the support character was able to do and not specific to Fuka.
Indeed. We need to begin taking measures right now. I only hope no danger comes to Narukami and his friends.
Mitsuru-san seems deeply agitated. During the car ride, she seemed distracted. At times, she would flip through the thick file in her lap only to suddenly give an order to a subordinate, and at other times she would stare intently at her watch as if lost in thought. Her usual regal composure is gone.
Mitsuru-san, why don't we just ask them to cooperate with us?
I agree. They seem pretty strong.
No, they're still young. If I asked for their assistance, it would waste time better spent in school. Worse yet, it would put them in danger. I don't want anyone else to have to go through that anymore.
I understand how you feel, but they don't seem like the kind who listen.
That's very true.
We were the same way back then.
Mitsuru-san falls silent. It's likely not a mistake to think that the sudden spike in shadow activity this time is related to the events of a few days ago. Oh, it's only been a few days then. I figured it had been a little bit longer than that. It has become apparent to everyone that another dangerous battle is about to begin.
We have new information. Kikuno sent me a message. I tasked Kikuno with reviewing Ergo Research's quarantine server. But it seems new evidence has come to light regarding Ikutsuki, who we discussed in our earlier conversation.
I remember.
According to the report, it seems Ikutsuki was performing an experiment on his own in the lab directly after the explosion. It's unknown if this is related to our current mission, but there was a record of a plume of dust being used in the experiment.
So, there was an explosion in the lab under Gekukan High School. And then immediately after the explosion, when it was basically evacuated, irradiated, and, not used anymore, Ikutsuki started his own experiment there, but left an official record of it? I guess that does make sense. I doubt he could just walk in. I'm sure it was, quarantined, and there was some security measures, but I'm surprised no one else thought it was weird that he was working in an abandoned laboratory all by himself.
A plume of dusk.
A plume of dusk, an object that blurs the line between matter and information, and is fitted to anti-shadow weapons, like myself. It forms the core of our personality modules, and is what allows us to control persona, even though we are machines.
So, what are the details of this experiment? Nothing good.
Well, it is Ikutsuki.
Ikutsuki was
The limousine's engine suddenly roars, drowning out further conversation. It seems the road we are taking has begun to climb a steep hillside. As the car takes the winding road up the slope, I can look down through the window and see lush trees along the mountainside. For a moment, I thought I sensed a shadow reading. Could it have just been my imagination? I'm not sure you have imagination, Igus. I'm sure you have creative thinking, but I'm not sure that you dream or anything like that.
Yamagishi, tell me our current location.
One moment. I'm looking it up now. We're currently in Inaba Pass. We're almost at the target coordinates.
Oh.
What is this? Was that?
What's wrong? An ambush?
What's happening? Driver, what's going on? Answer me!
It's just like during the hijacking.
Wait, this whole time you didn't notice that your personal assistant was not driving?
A barrier! Are we trapped?